Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, July 10th. I'm Stephanie Haney. This is 3 News Now. Thanks for joining us, where we bring you the top headlines from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. We've made it to the weekend, and there are a lot of things you need to keep in mind heading into this weekend. So let's start with big news from yesterday. There have been some updates to the way counties have been cataloged in Governor Mike DeWine's new color-coded 4-point alert system. Summit and LORAIN County have been upgraded to Level 3, the red alert. Cuyahoga County has been at the Level 3 red alert, but it has now been designated as nearing Level 4, the purple alert, which is where things get a little bit more serious and there are more of those indicators present. Remember those 7 indicators that Governor Mike DeWine mentioned, which we do have fully laid out on WKYC.com, but some of those indicators, remember, include the rise in the number of cases, whether those cases are coming from a congregate group setting or from smaller settings, the increase in death totals, the capacity of hospitals, the increase in hospitalizations, and those things, which we have all laid out again on WKYC.com. So Summit and LORAIN County are now in a code red Level 3 alert. So what that does is that triggers the mandated masks in public in both of those counties. Level 3 has been described as a very high exposure and spread of COVID-19, where residents should limit their activities as much as possible. Huron County has been downgraded from a Level 3 to a Level 2, and what that means is that the state-issued mask mandate has fallen off for Huron County. If you're in Huron County, you are not required, though it is still recommended, but you are not required to wear a facial covering in Huron County. For Level 2, that means an increased exposure and spread. Besides following all current orders, residents should exercise a high degree of caution related to COVID-19. That means 2 to 3 of those indicators have been noted in Huron County. Now, Cuyahoga County has been noted as approaching Level 4, which is the highest alert on the system. That is the purple color-coded alert on the system. That is the highest level, and it denotes severe exposure and spread of COVID-19. Part of the reason why Cuyahoga County is now getting close to that Level 4 purple designation is because between June 24th and June 30th, Cuyahoga County alone had 999 reported COVID-19 cases. That's the largest increase in cases in that period of time since we first became aware of COVID-19 being present here in Ohio back on March 9th. Governor Mike DeWine said that the average hospital admissions per day also more than doubled from 7 from June 16th to June 20th. On July 2nd, with most of the cases in Cuyahoga County stemming from those non-congregate, non-group settings during the last 3 weeks. So that's just one of those indicators and why we are now nearing Level 4 here in Cuyahoga County. So in Cuyahoga County, remember, those masks are required if you're going out in public, as well as now in Summit and LORAIN counties here in Northeast Ohio. Let's take a look at the statewide numbers from yesterday. Cases were down from Wednesday, but they were still in the thousands, continuing to drag that average up, and the deaths were down, but we did officially hit 3,000 deaths in the state of Ohio yesterday. Yesterday, we saw 1,150 new reported COVID-19 cases across the state of Ohio, bringing that total now to 61,331. Now, as of yesterday, the presumed number of recovered cases was 42,111. So that's about 69% of the total cases. So what that means, the flip side of that, is that 31% of the cases that we know of COVID-19 in the state of Ohio are active right now. We're currently experiencing 31% of the cases that are known of COVID-19. Yesterday, we saw 15 new reported deaths. That's down from 21 reported on Wednesday, bringing that total to 3,006, breaking that 3,000 number here in Ohio for the first time yesterday. There were 81 new people reported hospitalized yesterday, bringing that total to 8,570 dating back to March 9th, and 19 new people reported admitted to the ICU, bringing that total to 2,146 dating back to March 9th. Now, Something that is on a lot of people's minds is that the school year is getting closer and closer, and educators are definitely concerned about what that might look like, just like parents are concerned about what that might look like. In many parts of the state, the start of what we anticipate the school year to be is less than a month away. Some people do go back to school in very early August. So now school leaders are looking to finalize plans. They are turning to teachers as a key resource. LORAIN Education Association President Jay Pickering told 3 News that teachers are very concerned about their own personal safety as well as the safety of staff and students. Ohio Education Association President Scott DeMauro said also there's a big concern about going back and forth between in-person and online learning, because consistency is an important factor when children are learning, when they're trying to take in new information, as well as consistency for parents who need to plan their work schedule if you're not in a situation where you're working from home. DeMauro said that it's pretty clear that as there will be outbreaks of COVID-19, there is going to be a need to shut down a classroom or shut down a school. So there is concern about how that will be handled, because again, that introduces another layer of inconsistency in a situation that's already stressful for everybody involved. DeMauro believes that public health experts need to be very clear in terms of what's necessary to keep everyone protected. Here's a quote from DeMauro. Too many of those recommendations are not being issued as mandates, and we need to have clear mandates that will protect the health and safety of adults and children who work in and around schools. This is a national conversation. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos said the other day that she is confident that people need to go back to in-person learning and that it is up to the communities to figure out how. But as we see right now, DeMauro, a representative from our community here in Ohio, is saying they need more guidance. They need mandates. The recommendations are not helpful, according to DeMauro. There will be resource issues like personal protective equipment, hand sanitizer, and social distancing barriers that will also be a concern. DeMauro says that the union is counting on Congress to step up and provide additional funding. Governor Mike DeWine did also address that issue. Here in Akron, there was a lot of conversation about the millions of dollars that it would cost just to provide hand sanitizers to students, because so much hand sanitizer would be needed in order to follow these guidelines and keep people safe and help stop the spread of COVID-19. Also, lots of conversation around at what age it's appropriate to require a child to wear a mask. So there are a lot of unanswered questions right now, and educators are trying to work through it. Pay attention to your district, because that's the most direct source of information. If you are a parent with a student who might be going back to in-person classes or might be planning online learning in the fall, of course, we'll bring you all the information. We have it as we get information from districts as they make those decisions. Here's something else we need to be paying attention to. Those pandemic unemployment assistance benefits might be running out in the coming weeks. That's that federal additional $600 that people have been getting. So that will stop at the end of July, the week of July 25th. At this point, there is nothing on the books that would extend that $600 additional payment. Congress is on hiatus right now. They'll be coming back on July 20th, and that will absolutely be discussed at that point. There are multiple proposals for different additional stimulus packages that are being kicked around in Congress right now. But this $600 additional a week from the federal government, that will stop unless something else happens by the end of July. Now, this is different than the benefits for people who didn't already qualify for state unemployment, or the benefits for people who had already exhausted all of their state unemployment. Those benefits will continue through December 26th. That falls under the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Plan. If you have exhausted your 12 weeks of state benefits, there is an extension under PEUC for an additional 13 weeks of benefits, and that is good through December 26th. That maximum payout is $350 though, and previously, through the end of July, you would be getting that $350 plus an additional $600 from the federal government. But at the end of July, if that doesn't get extended in some way, that will not be happening. Now, if you are one of those people who could have applied for Ohio benefits, but you had exhausted those benefits, you're not automatically enrolled in the extension. if you're nearing the end of your regular benefits, if you're nearing the end of those regular 12-week benefits here in Ohio, you need to sign into your unemployment portal and you need to go to apply to pandemic benefits in order to get that extension. Now, if you were receiving benefits, if you did not previously qualify for state benefits, so these are like 1099 employees, people who work less than full-time, small business owners, you can still get your up to 39 weeks of benefits through that same program, $350 max. That is also through December 26th, and that is applying through the pandemic benefits, not through the state. But through the end of July, if you were getting that $350 max, you were also getting potentially that additional $600 from the federal government. And again, that's what's going to end if Congress doesn't act when they return on July 20th. So keep that in mind as you're budgeting and figuring out what you're going to do with your finances. In New York City, there is a Black Lives Matter mural that has been painted outside of Trump Tower, and this is something that President Donald Trump did not want, but New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio didn't care and went forward with it anyway, and he went so far as to grab a paint roller himself and start painting Black Lives Matter in front of Trump Tower in Manhattan. So that's happening today. President Donald Trump tweeted last week that the street mural would be, quote, a symbol of hate, which is not a position that a lot of people are taking. So de Blasio, his wife, Shirlene McRae, and Reverend Al Sharpton all helped out in painting the mural. It is in giant yellow letters on Fifth Avenue. That's in front of Trump Tower. And while the painting was going on, activists were chanting, "Whose streets? Our streets." The mayor announced that he would be doing this last month, and also there will be Black Lives Matter murals in several other places around New York City. When that announcement was made, Trump said on Twitter that the mural would denigrate, quote, this luxury avenue and, quote, further antagonize New York's finest, which is a common reference to police. At that point, de Blasio tweeted back that Black Lives Matter is, quote, a movement to recognize and protect the lives of Black people. In Washington, D.C., that was one of the first places where we actually saw a Black Lives Matter mural put up, but now we've seen it in lots of other places around the country, including a couple here in Northeast Ohio. We have a beautiful mural on East 93rd Street that says Black Lives Matter with the letters designed individually by individual artists, some students, some more well-established artists, just a whole group of people coming together to make that happen. And most recently, Warrensville Heights High School made their own Black Lives Matter mural. It's right in front of the high school. It was approved by the school board, and they called it a beautiful way to show that Black Lives Matter through public art, and it looks phenomenal in blue and gold in front of Warrensville Heights High School. Here's one more good story to end things on the right note for you today. There's a teenager from Rocky River who has been named a top finalist in a national duct tape contest. 18-year-old Joshua Ohala. He's a finalist in the National Stuck at Prom Scholarship Contest. In this contest, high school students used duct tape to create prom dresses and tuxedos. There were 355 entries this year, and Joshua's creation was selected in the top 5 in the tuxedo category. He grew up here in Northeast Ohio right off of Lake Erie. They spent lots of summers enjoying the water, the Northeast Ohio Metro Park system, which I can tell you I am just beginning to explore, and I am very pleasantly surprised. I am really enjoying our Metro Park system here. It's so expansive and so close to downtown. Really, it's great. And also Joshua's design was inspired by Cleveland's skyline, which is also beautiful. So he included a little bit of Cleveland in his design. It has a colorful Lake Erie sunset on the back of his jacket. The back of his vest has fireworks exploding over the downtown Cleveland skyline. And on the front, he has a heron, those beautiful long-legged birds that we see around the waterfront here in Northeast Ohio, and it's in water to represent the beauty of nature and how important that is to us in this community. And then he finished things off with white, black, and gold duct tape shoes, a gold tie, and a red flower for a splash of color. So this entire thing took him 96 hours to put together. So that's 24, 48, that's 4 days. That's 4 full days to put this thing together. His mom, Nadine, said that he was just trying to represent the best of Northeast Ohio. Obviously, he did a great job getting into the top 5 in that national contest. You can see all of the pictures and videos of this on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. You have to check it out. It's just incredible, and it deserves to be seen. So if you don't yet have it, you can download our WKYC app from the Apple App Store if you have an Apple device, also from the Google Play Store if you have an Android device. It's free and you'll get notifications, and you can also stream all of our shows for free on the WKYC app if you don't have cable and if you don't have a digital antenna. So keep that in mind. I'll be back here at 2 p.m. as soon as we get those new numbers in from the Ohio Department of Health. I hope you enjoy the rest of your morning. I'll see you back here shortly. I'm Stephanie Haney.